Okay, so you are what? Why do people consume music? Okay, can you just give us some quiet, please?
Well done. This was.
See the authority in my voice, can't you? Okay, can you just be quiet, please? We're just going to listen to James. He's going to look at. He's done research on why do people consume music.
So I was looking into why people consume music. So I surveyed. What I did was I surveyed around 30 people, asking them why they buy music. So not only do I need to ask that, I need to find out what people think about music in the first place to find out why they buy it. So when I was asking people, I started asking questions like how much do they listen to music, and practically 100% of everyone I asked it said every day they listen to music. So I said, if music's that important to you, what do you think music is? And so I said, like, what is the purpose of music? 40% of the people I said it's there just to entertain and just for pleasure and entertainment. Another 40% said it's a way of escaping from life and it's the issues and how busy life can get sometimes. And the other 20% said it brings culture and it's a way of provoking feelings and thoughts. So after asking what they thought music is, I asked them why they listen to music. And some people changed from what they originally said. So 40% said it's there just to entertain, keep them amused. But others started saying it's more, they use it to relax, and another 20% said it's there to motivate them to do stuff. And the others said they just like to appreciate music and the talent that people have. So that was down in half. So after asking about music, I started to ask them how they access their music. So all of them said that they all listen to music on their iPods or phones. And but 40% of people, was it 40%? Yeah, no, 60% of people said they listen to iTunes because they're sitting at a computer most of the time doing work, so that's where they're going to listen to iTunes. But also 60% said they start listening to music through YouTube, and 60% specifically said YouTube, but another 40% started talking about listening to through streaming on Spotify or Lost FM and stuff like that. So I was asking this. Looking at how people listen to their music, I started to ask, do you listen to music more on your own or do you listen to it with people? And everyone answered they listen to it more on their own than to say with people. And then going from that, I asked, how do you use the music? And a lot of people said they listen to music whilst they do work, whilst they're at the gym, and something like that to help motivate them. Some people said to help them sleep. And when they're walking from places, they listen to music. But the majority of the answers I got were stuff they do on their own rather than with people. So after getting an insight of what people thought about music, I started to ask about stuff like, do they think music's too expensive? And everyone I asked said music is too expensive, saying but downloading a digital single shouldn't be 99p. They find it's too expensive just to get a digital format of a song. A lot of people said it's more in regards to singles and to albums. They thought some people thought albums are reasonably priced compared to singles, but some people also argued that new artists are far too expensive. They shouldn't be paying the same price or even more for new artists compared to big artists, because they're not wanting to spend that much money just to see if they like them or not, to find out, oh, I don't really like these, I've just spent like £10 on their album. So after asking him, do they think the music's too expensive, I went, so if you think music's too expensive, how much should music be? And everyone was just very hesitant. They were, oh, I have no idea, like, I don't know how much, like, I don't, like, they couldn't put a price on music, but they just said the price that's on it is too expensive. So then I started to go into asking stuff about, do they think illegal downloading is okay? Which I got some interesting results, because the people I surveyed between the age of 20 and 14, and I found as the younger the age, the more they were accepting illegal downloading. So people I asked who were 20 were all against, no, shouldn't do illegal downloading, because it takes away from the artist and the industry stealing money away. But asking the 14-year-olds, like, oh yeah, legal downloading, fine, because then it's just how I get my music. So it's brought up, it started to bring up things about how different generations value music and how it changed, because a lot of the younger people I asked were saying, oh, I have the right to access this music, why should I pay for it? Compared to the older ones who are saying, oh, it belongs to these people, and I'm paying for the right to access this music and listen to it. So I was looking into stuff like that, and so I started to ask, has advertising ever directly influenced people to buy music? And 75% said yes, but only on like 1 or 2 occasions, not all the time. So I started like, well, if they don't get influenced by advertising, where do they find out about music and stuff? And everyone said friends, saying that they always find about new people through friends and family. But a lot of the time people find out about new music through free streaming, through like Spotify, like free accounts on Spotify or YouTube, just looking into stuff. And a few other people was talking about radio and like advertising by promoters. So like there's a certain promoter they like, and they say they're putting on that band, and they go, oh, I want to see why they're putting on that band. So as I was going through this research, I found out that how people valued music is they saw it as like not necessarily a commodity. It's like it was a part of their life. It was every day. Like they couldn't go out a day without music. And in the way that culture is today, music is pretty much everywhere. It's on advertising. It's pretty hard to go throughout a day without listening to music in some kind of form. But it was interesting whilst going through this research, seeing how the value of music changed over. It was only like the 6-year gap between the people, and how it like drastically changes between people at the older end to people at the younger end, how they valued music and what they thought saw their rights to music were. Because all the young people were just like, I have the right for music. Like, I don't understand why these people are charging me to listen to music. It's my right to listen to music. But from finding out why people consume music, is because they see it as a part of their life. They find it as a way of like accessing events in their life as well. So like they can have like some people talk about having like a soundtrack to their life, having like certain songs that provoke certain memories and stuff. And other people they see it as a tool to do things, so they find it to help motivate them to do work, or like when they're at the gym, they find music helps them motivate them to do stuff. And like music for them is like a sort of like extra to help them get through things they do. So why they consume music is to so they were saying like so they were saying so they were talking about music. They didn't really, like a lot of people I talked to, they didn't really identify music as like a singular thing. They just saw as like part of their life, like it was just something that's there. They never really thought about music on their own as its own identity. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. All right, cheers, thanks for that. Presenting that. Okay, has anyone got any comments on that? Well, besides stuff not really to do with more to do with the presentation.
I think it's mad that some people like think that it's the right to be able to get music for free.
It's just the why. You thought that?
Well, when I asked them, they were just like, well, the music's part of life. How can people like charge me for
But why is it
music?
part of life?
Because it's just the way they've grown up, and they just haven't really thought about music being like something owned by someone who makes this music for you. So it's like it's them trying to make their life off the music. They just think music's just this thing that's always been where you can just like go on the internet and get music off. They don't really identify the music with the artist. They just see the product and go, well, that's why can't I access? Why do I have to pay to access these things?
Yeah.
Anyone else got anything to say? Any comments?
What did you say then?
Do you think that was good research?
Pirate stuff.
I reckon it was because you actually asked, you know, like people, like you went around and asked 30 people like information, so you didn't just get it off the internet, you actually just went up to the consumers, the real people, and got like real information.
But do you think it's good research then? Was it just primary research? Was there any secondary in there?
I was just going to say, it's nothing really, it's just like initial stuff, there's nothing really to back up from anywhere else with any of the information.
So does maybe like a lack of secondary research? I don't know for definite because obviously I don't know your log yet, but it all just seemed like it come out of a survey and that was it. So ideally the survey should have spanned you off into, you know, maybe you could have given us some sort of statistical information about cost of music and all the sort of ways that people can actually acquire it, with a bit more detail on that possibly. One of my things was that I thought you could have come to the conclusion that music is for lonely people, because one of your conclusions or micro conclusions of many was that people listen to it when they're alone, and if you then spin off and is that like old people buy a dog when their partner dies, apparently I'm led to believe, because they're just alone and you know don't have any friends and family left if they're that old kind of thing. So they buy it as company, and maybe younger people use music in a way. Do you know what I mean? It seems that your research was potentially suggesting that, but then you then go off and go. So then I looked around the internet and found out that psychologists did some research on time management studies, and we always found that this control group of 30 people all listened to the music when they were by themselves. Because obviously it gets in the way of the conversation. If we had a music player, so we were, but if I was by myself, that's anecdotal, it's not research, you know what I mean? So we can guess at that. Maybe you could have done a little bit about sort of psychology. Could there be an element that you lots of stuff like that you could have just presented like just globally how music has is consumed, and maybe you'd have found a map on the internet where it's like red for millions and different colour for sort of, and show where the main sort of records or music buying, like I don't know, there's loads of stuff that you could have like touched upon. So you do your research was a bit because there's nothing to parallel it against, nothing to back it up. Is your unless you're telling me how well, I didn't just base it on the questions I asked the people.
Well, I did a little bit of research on it. So when I was originally doing it, I was like finding it hard to try and find, research around the same topic.
But hopefully you can see that, I'm trying to sort of, if I'm just thinking, I'm giving you I'm saying what I'm saying, because if the next step is that you do go to university or something like that, and you take on like some more elements, it just becomes more and more that you research everything that you do, and you have to do it in a much more academic way, then it's just, it's sort of okay for what the level may be, but it's a bit weak in the sense that it doesn't have like, I did all this primary, did all this secondary, I looked at it historically, I looked at it, like all those sort of breakdowns, but don't take it in sort of, I don't mean to upset anyone when I say these things. It's more like, if I'm not here teaching you how to play football, I'm here to sort of have a conversation about how you do good research and try and just give you pointers to sort of, for whatever it's worth, you go off into the world and we may never look at research
Jay, $80.
It's okay.
$80.
Right, just quickly, we'll get to you.
Anyway,
well done, James, for it, take it.
That's a pound, isn't it? $80
You sort of like, it takes a lot for you to sort of talk to the group, I think, it's just.